In April 2020, the first book in the series Guidance for Life on Earth, Teachings and Practices from Inner Guides, was published by me, Stephen Busby. 4 years later, I gathered with some readers from the field that has grown around the 4 books in the series so far to celebrate, and here are some highlights from our meeting. You'll hear favorite extracts from Book 1, as well as reflections on the impact of all the Guidance for Life materials in our lives. More information can be found at guidanceforlife.info. I hope you enjoy the celebration. And there was a strong impulse to invite as many of you as possible to honor that event with me, which has certainly been huge in my own life, and I gather has been impactful in others' lives too. So let's see how we do this and enjoy ourselves and honor what these materials have brought us. In your heart, you know yourself as a magnificent, multidimensional being of an immense scale and scope, unimaginable in your human terms. In your heart, you know yourself as love. You know yourself as love. You are here to discover and to celebrate the sublime, multifaceted nature of your reality as it unfolds inseparably from yourself. Wherever or however you focus, there you become. Your becoming, as life unfolding, is love. Love is generative of all that appears to contain you. Love awaits your closer embrace. What is activated in you is memory, remembered knowing of who and what you are, of origin. Every aspect of your life returns you to this, insofar as you allow. Feel the truth of this for yourself now. Sense the extent to which you are motivated from deep within, through your smallest inner impulses, to seek yourself out, to love yourself and others into being, to love yourself and others into being. For you are invited through the earth experiment beneath your physical senses, inwards. The experiment invites you to realize the limitations of an overly physical orientation. It invites you to an embodied understanding of how the pain arising from the circumstances that you create as part of the experiment may be transmuted through love. An embodied understanding of how the pain arising from the circumstances you create may be transmuted through love.
As you asked us about I'm going to tear up here. The impact of this book and these, I'm going to speak up because I'm touched here. The impact of these books and these materials is a portal I walked through that has expanded my being in ways I could never, ever have begun to imagine. The knowing that I am always accompanied. What you just read, the last piece, no, this imbuing everything with love, stepping out of the sort of knowing love, the cognitive stories we tell about love, into really getting to some extent, the embodied power of love and being love. I just feel like I could go on and on with the ways that my being has been expanded into love and beauty and grace and the embodiment of knowing that I am creating, that the creatorship in world, the degree to which that is embodied in me, it's like another planet and another life. And the gratitude permeates every cell of my being. And I do have a reading here on beauty, but I lost it, so give me a moment. Beauty is that of which you are composed and is projected into all that appears around you in your plane. Sublime beauty in all its myriad forms. Appreciation of beauty as the essence of yourself activates in you a more acute inner perception. Within the inner senses, there await still other senses, perceiving ever inwardly towards origin. All knowing resides within and awaits you. All knowing. And the affirmation of, through beauty, I am most touched and known.
Thank you, Robin.
I feel these books have been transformational. And this experience of love, what you read, Stephen, is one of actually my favorite pieces. A love that's beyond any love that I could have known or imagined, and an intimacy that's created. And the beauty of it is the clear message that we can't do it alone, and that we're here for one another, to reflect one another, and to be with one another, and hold space, and the things that arise that we can presence and be with, not even in terms of expanding into other worlds, but into our own inner world. And for me, at this moment, literally, I'm in another world. And part of that is because of this work, like the love that connects or is from our hearts and bypasses the brain is huge for me. Having been a very much of a person in an environment, especially that's constantly stimulating, and having had an incredible brain, which I'm appreciative of, but there's something about experiencing our incredible hearts and the beauty and wonder of them and our hearts together is huge for me. And just putting attention on that. So one of the passages for me is it's more simple, but your attention is potentially and imaginatively limitless. As with attention, so with your experience of reality, seemingly around you. Bring awareness to your attention and everything shifts as an effect. It is you that shifts, taking your world with you. Everything invites your loving attention and unfolds through your loving attention. Everything invites your gentle, loving attention and unfolds through your loving intention. And so for me, I feel that intention is coming from the heart now, and it's transformational. So I thank everyone, especially you. And then one piece about the books that are just amazing for me is you could have read the passage 15 times, and then we share it on a call or a Zoom or something, or in a retreat even, and it's like, when did the book say that? It's ever unfolding and surprising me and full of wonder, and I'm feeling more clearly the guides and the voices and the consciousness that's all around us and with us, and it's just astounding and beautiful. So
thank you, Mary.
For me, it's allowed me to um, embrace this multidimensional reality that we're all a part of. I love that it's always reiterated that just in engaging the practices, things are shifting. And I really feel that, that when I'm able to kind of like soften my focus during my daily life, even for a few moments, that I know that there's some shift that's actually taking place there. And it's reaffirming to me. I'm a caregiver, over the last 5 years, taking care of my mom and now another relative. And so the daily life can be very stressful, taking up much of my focus and attention and energy. But then in the quieter moments, I'm able to return to material and to remember and of my relationship to it. And the mystery, just embracing the mystery, I think is just such a beautiful thing to continue to know more is being revealed. And as I increase as I just pay more attention and maintain my intention to like grow and learn and understand and explore, that it kind of like it gives me that excitement in the background of whatever it is that I might be struggling with on the day to day. So I'm just really thankful for it.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Michael. Beautiful.
I love also the notion of celebration today. I feel joyous and so connected. I wrote down some words when you were speaking first, and it's always more, it's always new as it's alive. The material is very alive, but there is one word, and this is practice. So I really love that that there is so much practice in the books itself that I can do alone, and we are always remembered and engaged in practicing. I really love that about the books because it connects and it shows me that I am relational. And then there is some, those weird expressions, reading at first, and it seems like that's crazy. And then more and more, there is no better expression. And sometimes I use it internet, but for example, bleed through. There is a bleed through. And now I know what it's meant. This is like, it's almost like from the books or from the interface, there is something, and it's bleeding through into my flesh and bones and into my words, and that's what yes. So there is so much, and I could say, and what I also very much love is the pointing to the radicality. So there is a radicality, but the radicality is on the shift. It's radical in the pointing to where I am allowed to shift, where to. So it's not like fixing something here or making something here better, but like to really shift on a deep level, and to it have this radicality and so much gentleness. So there's one expression that is in my head, in the back of my being, and I think it's literally from the books, and it's the sentence, "Nothing need be forced, ever." And this is a great, great, great reminder. Yeah. I'm in awe and in joy and in celebration of us. And Stephen, for also you embodying and modeling, being there. This is also amazing, having, not only a metaphysical book, but also a human being being here with me and with us. Yeah.
Thank you, Stefan.
And I will read a little
Sure, go ahead.
little passage. I am here to learn to love all aspects of myself as personality. Transcendent love is a practice, the highest or deepest, which you gift yourself here. It's a practice. As a being, you encompass a vastness and nobility of purpose of which it is very difficult, if not impossible, for you to conceive at the level of personality. At a level of personality, you seem, for instance, to be locked into limitation and self-preoccupation, struggling to lift yourself beyond a concern with survival or defense. Embrace yourself in such apparent limitation, and you presence yourself as a transcendent being of love, whom we invite you to envisage as a valiant ambassador of Source Self. From our perspective, we perceive and salute you in your magnificent purpose. We honor you in the vast scope of your vision and your love, and in how you choose to manifest yourself within the earth plane. If subtle form were in any way measurable, according to your instruments, then the scale and radiance of your being would be simply breathtaking to you. Consider yourself thus, and your personality is imbued with a compassion and a courage which is transformative of every aspect of your experiment. Consider yourself as a radiant being, and every aspect of your experiment is transformed.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen, for everything. For inviting us to this. I mean, I realize during the call, it's like something is revealed there, whether the effects or the importance of the book in a different way. I mean, you know me and that how easily I think I'm one of the world champions on the fence sitting competition. And labeling myself as a bad student, but the thing is, I remember when the book was not yet there, but the messages were there. You were still in the compiling mode into the book, and how that touched me, and how it's opened something. And I think that's the thing about this book and the books, that's opening a doorway to well, physically sense the connection to other realms, to the bigger, to universe. I mean, it's really like feeling life and love and the planets and the universe. All those things come through occasionally, and even if I'm a bad student, it comes through in working groups, and I can see how it has changed my life in connections on the earth plane with new friends and practice partners, and Carolina coming into my life, and so many things. And it's just when I am forced to now reflect a bit that I realize that this doorway that opened, in a way, you can't close it down really, but it's but to be sure about it, it's like the book is like something you put in the doorway, so it can't close. So it's there. And another aspect of the book, or my experience of the books, is that almost every time I have a sense, yes, I know that. That is really about remembering, and happily, I mean, it's about that the way the guides speak on this is in a way that a part of me can understand, and yet not understand, but it's the familiarity in it. So it connects to this remembering, which is very comforting that it is available. And in that way, the book is working all the time, even if I don't read it. I can keep it here. It's keeping the doorway open. And my interactions with other people in the field is keeping me connected to this and not forgetting. And I had a strong experience in the silence when we started. Suddenly my parents appeared. And then at the same time, I saw all of you like a circle. And we were all colorful, like on the screen, but more lined up. And my parents were there. And then suddenly all the ancestors of all of you, like generations back. So it's like seeing you in color. and all the ancestors of all of you in black and white, like lining up. And when you spoke later about the bigger field, Stephen, it's like, yes, they are also there. So it's really, yeah, this little moment in the silence together here, all of us, and under your guidance, Stephen, it has made me connect to, yeah, I could feel that. Yes, it's huge. This human, human manifestation of life, and people who are actually, and yes, trying to understand what consciousness is, and that we are parts of, or we are all of it at the same time. Yeah. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Ulf. I feel moved to be here with you again, directly like this. Beautiful, thank you.
Thank you.
I don't have my book 1 with me. I carry book 3 around with me. I'm in transit, and we're in transit. We're always in transit. I've said this before, Stephen, and everyone. I always come back in the introduction, inside, being invited, all of us being invited with you, Stephen, into book 1, and before book 1, when these manifestations were manifesting you, were coming through your being, and the listening, the deep, deep listening. And I come back again and again. I don't need my book, because I come back to page 93 and 94, whatever those pages. Choices have consequences. And this is where I enter this incredible field of listening. The consequence, the magical, mysterious consequence of being, embodying love. This invitation to be the consequence of love, and how from that very first invitation that way, through all of the threads of all of the words and energies and resonance of words, born, B-O-R-N-E, born into an embodiment, consequence, the glorious consequence of being born as heart and living the fullness of the truth of who and what we are. So what began as a practice, as an invitation, has become the full consequence of being this, being the full truth of this transfiguration. There aren't any words in our language. We've talked about this again and again, this languaging of light, this transfiguration through heart and aspects. This consequence, hallelujah for this consequence of being this fullness.
Thank you.
This was the invitation you were invited inside of, and you invited.
Thank you, Ginny. Sink within yourself, beneath the surfaces of what you believe is your wounding, and you find unimagined potentials from which such beliefs protect you. In greater terms, you are not wounded. You create those conditions and opportunities that are optimal for your continued unfolding, apparently pleasant or otherwise. In that sense, there can be no misfortune, nor anything to which you appear to be subject beyond your volition. Seek to displace tension in your life in ways that seem to locate its source outside of yourself, and you are simply reinforcing an inner separation. You are here to invite more bandwidth of life through you, through a self that is in constant creative movement and expansion, in ways that far exceed your capacity to keep up with and contain life in any way. You are not here to keep up with and contain life. Know then that there are no apparently external collective crises upon which you do not have sovereign agency. And know that the point of all power, lies only within the focus of your awareness, your love. As a being, you create unique sets of probable life opportunities and circumstances by which, through incarnation within the earth plane, you may stretch yourself to the very limits of what you know of yourself, such that these seeming limits may be loved. Generally speaking, life, as you know it, is an affair of attraction. You invoke circumstances through which energy arises, tending then to dissociate yourself from what you invoke. The inner action of invocation attracts much to you and constitutes powerful action. Thus you attract to yourself, or attract back in terms of your time, those circumstances and effects generated. For everything returns or is remembered. The greater the inner separation or dissociation in you, the more circumstances appear to be divorced or further from you. You are here then to discern and to learn the principle and the process of sovereign choice. Your sovereign choice. Through free will in your earth plane, you are enabled to choose. Thus, you experiment in choosing fear, for instance, which is a low vibrational expression of life, and you reap the consequences of this repeatedly until you choose differently, until you choose love, a very high vibrational expression of life.
I'm going to be slow and shaky. I want to speak to so many things, but I think before I forget, I want to name what this work and this material has borne as community of practice, as a holding space for our becoming, I've not ever been in a community of practice, I think, where the encounters with one another has been so in the moment transforming, moment to momently transforming.
insofar as we can be with ourselves and with one another in loving embrace, be received and receive in return. The experience of embrace, the very beginning, very first retreat we had after this book came out, was life-changing for me. And that's only been deepening. There's something in, I want to share of a practice. The practices in the books are so astonishingly, what do I want to say? Mind-bending, heart-opening. But practice 3 in book 1, choosing to embrace yourself in your life circumstances. I remember early on, I did it over and over again. And there was a phrase here. It's preceded by the sentence, in this practice, notice whenever you feel any discomfort within yourself, perhaps a sense of internal jarring or dissonance, of impatience or irritation, however slight. And then the sentence, pause then. Breathe into yourself and allow a loving curiosity to arise and touch you. That is such a transformative act. And in my days, whenever I can return, whenever something comes up where I feel tension or whatever, I return in some form to that. Slowing, dropping within, feeling the layeredness, coming into relatedness with whatever is there through the heart center in a way that changes everything. And through which I know worlding is happening, through which the creatorship that we bring occurs, through that inner transforming moment of embrace. So sometimes the words are a lot for me, but the essence of the practice is unspeakably transforming. Thank you. From the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
Thank you, Julia.
Yeah, I had the impulse to share that for me, book 1, my experience with book 1 is mostly from the practice space on Tuesday that Alina is inviting for. And there the audiobook is played, and afterwards we have a shared practice with these sections. And yeah, so I got to, and for me this is very powerful to have the audio recording and then have a shared practice on whatever is touched on. And yeah, it's very valuable, and I just want to express that I resonated with a lot of what was shared here, and very, very beautiful to see you all and come together like this. And yeah, one I don't have the book here, but one phrase that came up now or is present for me is from book 1 is, you are here to emanate a frequency of love, or something like that. And there's something special about that. It's not you're here to emanate the frequency of love, but a frequency of love that somehow allows this uniqueness, or this unique expression of it. And before, when it was shared, you are born as heart, I first heard you are born as art. And yeah, somehow I really liked also to hear that, and somehow connected to this idea to emanate a frequency of love.
Thank you, Timo.
Certainly to express immense gratitude and joy in this journey that we have been making all together. And I'm always amazed how I'm remembering one of the early times soon after the book was published, and I was kind of teasing you for your one sentence with 53 words and no punctuation marks. And I was thinking, it's impossible to understand this. And then discovering how alive these words are, how they change as we grow, how they change us as we receive, how they, I mean, like the words themselves are dancing with us and playing with us and transforming us in ways when we're not necessarily in practice groups, but we have been in practice groups, or we have been, yes, in practice with nature, or in practice with our deepest struggles, and in practice with the mystery of love. Yeah, thank you. And it's so wonderful to know that this is just the beginning.
Indeed. Thank you, Christina.
I also want to say thank you to you, Stephen, and your guides, and also everybody in the field. Yeah, particularly, I want to say thank you to like Nikki, who held the Wednesday group in the beginning, and Thursday group like Sue, like Florence, like I just remember that this like 4 years ago that when the COVID started, and I just remember that like wow, this book and also the group, the Sangha, this like I felt so much encouraged by the message conveyed in the book, and also the frequency when we practice together. And so I feel deeply grateful. And there's something I echoed with, I really love what Robin read, that beauty, that really touched me a lot. And something that like, I can't remember the exact words, but like the not doing, like effortlessly receiving, and that the emanate, yeah, as Timon said, that my purpose of life is to emanate frequency of love, and like all that arises in me is love. Like those phrases like still keep coming back in my daily life as well. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Yuko.
Yeah, I also wanted to express my thanks to such a big field, and you, of course, Stephen, and the guides, and traveling. I travel with book 2, part of it, and 3, so I don't have anything from the book itself, but what stays with me so much with traveling is the question of how to be differently in the world, and the thinning of what is my reality, and the being more open to a wider sensing of what I can perceive, especially as I travel and experience so many different people, energy, places, and myself in it. And yeah, so this question, and I think what was particularly in book one was just the incredible generosity of being held as I am with the struggle and on my way of finding love, but being held with this incredible loving. And yeah, that's just accompanying me through so many of my outer and inner travels. And yeah, hugely thankful. I feel embedded and held where before I was, I think, feeling very, I don't know, I can't even say anymore how it felt before because it has changed so much. But there is something about, what comes up to me right now. What a wonderful way of being differently in this life, in this world. Yeah, immense gratitude as I see all the faces on the screen too.
Thank you, Mehmet. Yes, Jennifer.
Yeah, Stephen, I simply want to celebrate your unshakable love and connection with your subtlety, and how this leads to a depth of service for not only a group of several hundred people here in the field, but of the world and of worlds, which is of a scale which sometimes I get a sense or I have a feeling for. And knowing how completely this dedication of yours, of your work, radically you embody the love you write in the books about. Yeah, you are modeling what you write about in a way which is so humble and so and of a beauty which I seldom experienced before in teachers. So it's an honor to be with you. It's an honor to be with you in this field of learning, and it's an honor and an incredible gift to be with you in life.
Thank you. You may struggle with the immense tasks you set for yourself in incarnate physical life. Such is your love. And you may not experience yourself as much at home here in the earth plane. It is as if in your essence you cannot find the reflection in love which affirms you in what you are. Your purpose then, as some of you have reminded us here during this call, is to continue to emanate that frequency of love of which you are an embodiment out through the apparently physical world, and to commune with others in this. Your purpose is to emanate a frequency of love. The love of yourself and of others through and beyond the prism of personality is your primary purpose. This love transcends personality while including and embracing every aspect of it. yourself without exception. You are here to build bridges to higher dimensional realities within and as yourself. And as you do or you become so, to transform the fabric of your primary plane of reality through those frequencies you come to embody. Whatever world is seemingly known then can be so no longer. For wherever you walk your awareness in frequency, then that ground is uplifted, expanded, and irrevocably changed.
Insofar as you choose to split and dissociate from yourself no longer, then that which you experience as traumatized in you is healed, as much in the individual as in the human collective, as much in your present as in your past. This is very important for me.
Thank you, Christiana. That's very touching.
You're very touched. And there were 4 passages that came to mind for me. I'm here to remember myself with others through inquiry. I'm here to fulfill myself at the level of my being and to rise to those challenges uniquely my own. How I wield my loving attention is of immense significance to more than I know. And the one that has been so mentioned. My purpose is to emanate a frequency of love. And I want to say how grateful I am, Stephen, for the understandings and being informed, which has over the years has come to embodiment, not just here. And I'm immensely grateful for this work and for what you bring, and for the Sangha. It's meant a lot. Thank you.
Thank you, Sue.
Yeah, this is, I'm trying to, I just feel like I have to say something. I feel like what keeps coming to me over and over again as I listen to everyone, and I'm just crying, crying. But there's a way that you know, the I guess, you know, when I think about the it's like a consenting almost to give voice to what we see and feel, and I have so much trouble with that, which is ironic, but I'm so grateful to those who have the courage to do it. And I think I would be really sad not to express my deep gratitude to you, Stephen, for doing so and for being such a beautiful channel of, you know, the messages that we're receiving through you. And yeah, just I'm so grateful that you have had the courage and the discipline and I don't know, all the different characteristics that you came in with that have allowed you to do this work. It's meant so much to me and continues to. Sorry, I'm just like a leaky sieve here. Yeah, it just I'm very deeply grateful, and it's also something that I would like myself to try and open up more and more. So that's why I felt like I had to open my mouth, even though I can't stop crying. So thank you so much. It's really beautiful and inspiring.
Thank you, Marion. I hear you.
I also want to add my voice. I'm very grateful for your humanity, your deeply held humanity in the face of all that swirls around you all the time. What you read earlier, this is a weepy spot. Love yourself and others into being. Love yourself and others into being. And I've been sitting, listening to everyone, feeling like my present manifestation has been loved into being by the places that I've been with in retreats and practice spaces. And I feel a great deal of joy and gratitude for you, Stephen, but for everyone also that somehow manages to show up all the time. So I just want to say thank you.
Thank you, Carol. By way of completion, then, this is what came to me as I was near rereading the last parts of the book. What you hear as you consent to listen within, you hear because its vibration echoes your own remembering, encouraging you to realize and to remember yourself in origin, to remember to live through love alone. Will you awaken? Will you awaken? Will you listen and discern what is here for you and how it is here? For in discerning the how, you learn so much. In your discerning of subtle realities, your world is revealed in its wholeness, none other than your own. And finally then, though you may be fearful and thereby suffer in worldly terms, we encourage you to remember the greater truth of your coming into incarnation, the greater truth of she or of he in you who is unformed in time and space, the greater truth of she or he who is ever attentive to you, ever loving of you, who knows you more than you allow yourself to be known or loved. We celebrate that in you which is human, addressed here. We celebrate that in you which is unborn and does not age or die, addressed here. That which is already the love that you seek, that which is whole, home, and remembered. And the last affirmation in the book, may love be remembered and ever prevail through me. Yeah, and I want to appreciate and honor all those of you who joined me here today in celebrating in being together in these very moving, beautiful, and what I'm hearing are significant ways, more so than we may realize. And to honor all those elsewhere in our field and in other fields who are not here on the call with us, but who I feel are very much a part of our own deepening all of the time. Especially those who maintain the online spaces of practice, other spaces of gathering, and all of you really who contribute and nourish this ever deepening field in your own individual and completely unique ways. So let's take in those of us who are here on this call, appreciate ourselves for being here in life and for being able and willing to show up. And let's share and spread the love. Thank you, everybody, and goodbye.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Stephen.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah.